Today was a very busy day for me because I was between the Senzo Meyowa murder trial and I was also at the error committee in Hoshi Mampuru Maximum Prison where Vusi Kat Matlala appeared. Guys, I have a totally different point of view here. It might actually surprise you because I am analyzing Kat Matlala and I am listening to Kat Matlala critically. Yes, he's dropped a bombshell on Becky and the 500,000 Rand bribe for him to get help against the police that were harassing him. Now, here we go. My first observations of Kat Matlala, it was my very first time hearing him speak. The tone of his voice, as well as the chain of thoughts that he has. Kat Matlala is intelligent, hands down. Hands down. And then I tried to look for his date of birth, and this is what I get from Google. His date of birth is not available, but he's giving me Scorpio vibes, y'all. If it's not Gemini, Scorpio vibes. Yeah, he gives me that. And pretty smart. And I like how he was like, hang on a minute. And I think they fooled him. I think the error committee fooled him. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be easy for the investigators to ignore what they heard at the error committee and use it against him. Hence, the right to remain silent. I think he should have exercised that right and sent the error committee packing back to Parliament. Because at the end of the day, what is he going to say that is going to be of assistance to the error committee? Because let me tell you something, if you think for a second we got something out of Kat Matlala, he was neither lying nor was he telling the truth. Kat Matlala, like I said, very sharp mind. He knew very well to listen attentively, and if he doesn't understand the question, which is another sign of intelligence, it's for you to repeat what you just said. So that his mind is just delaying that final thought on how to respond to that question. And just like I expected him to answer, he did. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I would have answered too. Because he doesn't want to fall in that trap. Especially the error committee, I don't know how naive these guys are because I feel like they are naive. And I'm quite surprised that Ungola is there. And Ungola, sir, you are a whole lawyer. I thought you would have guided your fellow, y'all are not honorable, your fellow colleagues. The guys, we are borderline violating Section 35 of the Constitution. And Kat Matlala was correct in his observations in the beginning. Correct. But they fooled him though. They said, oh no, don't worry. Anything that you are saying here, it cannot be used. That's not true. That is not true. Investigators, they were sitting with pen and pads, scribbling away and hoping to get something. But Kat Matlala did not dish it. The only thing that he dished out is the sequence of events when the police or the PKTT came to raid his house and he told his story, what happened. Whether you believe that or you don't believe what he said, that is, I think, for investigators to prove. And it's also for the court to determine whether that is true beyond a reasonable doubt. Excuse me. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. Beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law. Right? Because right now I'm listening to him and I'm like, we must also never forget that sometimes the police, they do go beyond some boundaries when they are doing the investigations. I mean, the case in point here is the Senzo Meyowa murder trial. Those police officers, those that were tubing and doing all that stuff. So what would stop, whether that is the PKTT or any other police unit, when they're investigating, doing the very same thing to get their success story at the end of the day? And I'm not saying the PKTT has done something like that. No, 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 no. That is why I'm listening attentively, because listen, sometimes you want to lessen the blow on your side and put more exertion on the other side. I mean, it can even add, because for example, you said the kids were made to lie down, and I'm like, I don't think so. That part I refute it. There is no adult would bust into the house full of children and then tell them to lie down. Those are minors. Those are mine. You don't tell. Why would you do that? Part I did not believe. To me, I felt like it was a revenge briefing of some sort. Like, let me add that little spice about my children and make it a little sensitive. I don't believe that actually happened. Maybe it did, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. The police are cruel, but to that extent, I don't think so. I would have understood if he said he made me and my wife to lie down on the floor. Yeah, there I would believe you. But what I'm trying to say here, when it came to the evidence leader, he was very careful how he responded. And if I was in his shoe, that's exactly how I would have answered myself. That is exactly how I answered with myself. Everything else that he said, I'm convinced. I'm very convinced. What I'm convinced about, number one, I don't think Bheki is clean. And I've said this when he appeared. I'm like, hey, Bheki, you told the truth, boy. You did your thing. But me, I'm still looking at you like this. You know, that's what I said. You can go to my videos, the video where Bheki appeared in the error committee. I said, I'm still looking at you like this because I don't think he is clean. And when Kat Matlala said, when he was being harassed by the police, he had nowhere else to go. Okay, I think he did deny his relationship with the Deputy Commissioner Usbia, because there are some stories of monies that being paid to Sibia. And I think because there is no trace of that money, maybe it was well guided to him, like, do not send anything via internet. But the interesting thing is, you can always go to his bank statement and see some few withdrawals, and then those withdrawals will have to be explained one way or the other, and the receipts are therefore of those purchases, if he made any from the money that was withdrawn. And if it matches what was said in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, like the 2 million rand and all of that stuff, then of course the court will have to decide whether that was the money that bribed also what's his name, Sibia. But when it came to the subsequent relationship between Brown Mukhotsi and Kat Matlala, Kat Matlala was quite naive there. I think maybe he was off guard because of all that he's going through, probably scared that he might actually lose his freedom for a very long time. 9 children, is that what I heard that he has? Probably was thinking about all of these things, and then comes somebody out of the blue calling from the office of Senzo Mchunu and say, I can help you. And that's where the extortion began. And that person who told Kat Matlala, no, give him the money as long as it's not over 200,000 rand. I'm looking at you like this. That's how I'm looking. I'm like, what did you get back as a kickback for convincing Kat Matlala to pay? It's quite interesting what I heard. And then subsequently, what's his name, Bramuhotsi advises Kat Matlala to speak to the former Minister of Police. And it seems like Peggy Cele still has influence in the police, or with some police, I suppose. Because one phone call, that was the end, 500,000 Rand allegedly went into his pocket as a result for helping Kat Matlala. I believe that. That was very convincing to me to hear. I was like, highly possible. I mean, we are dealing with ANC dudes here after all. Everything about them, money, 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 money. Fucking man is all born. Fucking man is all born a type of situation. So I do believe that. And there was something else that actually shocked me. And I can't remember. I keep trying my level. I didn't write notes because I'm jumping between two processes. I was like, yo. Oh yeah. The comment about him being stuck between a Zulu war. I mean, I did say this once, that this is before the 6th of July, 2025, by the way. I was like, something is going on between Usenzo Mchunu no Peggy Cele. There are shades that are being thrown around, but you cannot put your finger on it. So I guess because if you have to go into the ANC and the factionalism there, you have the Zumaites, then you have the Mbekiites, then you have the CR17, and goodness knows what is there now currently. So of course, when the CR17 took over, they did not want anything to do with the Zumaites, who just were outgoing. And some Zumaites are part of the ATNEC members of the ANC. And then, of course, CR17. So I think that is the politics that is playing itself, and it spilled over to KwaZulu-Natal. Hence, it's been dubbed as a Zulu war. That to me was interesting, and I believed it. So, what I'm saying about Kat Matlala is walking like, this is the fence, very, very thin township, you know, the one with a diamond shaped. He is literally walking on it. He's not going to fall this side, he's not going to fall this side either. What I mean by that, he's not going to protect anybody. He's going to sway like, I don't know if you've been to a circus before. Some of these performers actually walk a very thin line while doing juggling or balancing with a stick of some sort. That is exactly what Kat Matlala was doing. And that to me is pure intelligence right there. He was like, I ain't incriminating myself. I'm not going to do that. I'm being investigated, and he's aware that out there are investigators that are watching. And I did also hear some members of parliament or the head of committee were quite frustrated by Kat Matlala. Understandably so. Like I said, I would have done exactly what he did. Exactly what he did. So if you think we got anything out of Kat Matlala, you are sadly mistaken. Those little nuggets that he was throwing around, they were convincing. But everything else, like the crux of why the ad hoc committee is there, he's not going to give it up. He's not going to give up the 2 billion Rand. He's not going to give up Babita Diokoran. He's not going to give up Tobejan. He's not going to give up anything. The reason why we are actually seated at the edge of our seats and listening to him. And he's going to hold on to this for the next 3 days. And then at the end, we'll feel like we're eating cardboard. Have you ever chewed cardboard before? That's the taste it's going to leave in our mouths. I'm already feeling it, by the way. But I'm also like, wow. In case you did not know, I I have a very huge interest in intelligent people. They fascinate me. Oh, I get fascinated by intelligent people. And I was looking at Kat Matlala. I'm like, bro, I had to remind myself this man is accused of heinous crimes. Do not, do not. But a very eloquent, articulate, and very logical as well. Yeah, before I start sounding like I'm praising him, I'm just telling you guys what I observed, what I perceived on a technical level. That is what I saw. I don't know about you. I'm interested to hear, what did you hear? What did you pick up? What was the highlight for you in the Kat Matlala appearance? Did I think he was going to appear? Yes. I did think about that. He actually will appear, but he's going to challenge the legality of his appearance because he's an accused person. Honestly speaking, to be honest with you, Kat Matlala was not supposed to be called, especially by the Error Committee. I would have understood if he was called by the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, because there it is more of a legal process that is a what do you call it, a fact-finding mission with legality in there, with obviously legal eagles as the commissioners as well as the cross-examiners. I would have understood that because there you would have heard his Section 35 rights being acknowledged by the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. The other committee did not acknowledge that. They were going for the jugular. And that's the mistake that they made. And then he quickly was like, oh, even if you write it down, that I'm not, nothing that I say here can be used out. Like, really? You saying that the investigators are sitting on their ears when they are actually watching gold unravel itself? Come on. Honestly speaking, Mr. Ngola, guide your colleagues, please. I beg. Because I have faith in you when it comes to this legal stuff. I do. Everyone else that is there, but they are there for gossip. They are there for gossip. And all of us that were sitting and watching, we were waiting for some tea. I know I did. I'm going to speak for myself. I know I did. But after the first 10 minutes of Kat Matlala opening his mouth, I knew we're getting nothing. This man is smart. This man is smart. Let's give it to him there. And if you look at Scorpios, not only are they serial unalivers, if you go to our prisons, of people that are... I also tried to look for Fiso Ntuli's birthday. I couldn't find it either. But what I'm trying to say is, if we could do like research and see how many Scorpions that are incarcerated for unaliving, especially serial unalivers, Geminis and Scorpios, those are the two that will pop the most. Supposed to be Cancers, by the way, but hey, we are a different breed. Anyways, guys, I want to leave this video right here before I start saying the ridiculous stuff. And I think the rain is also starting to say, hey, wrap up. And I shall wrap up. And I'm sorry, guys, that you are not going to get anything from Kat Matlala. I've noticed that. I've noticed we're not going to get anything. But I'm going to still listen. He might do a slip up here and there. He might actually entangle himself. But he has not entangled himself at all. He's not Brown Mukhotsi, clearly. He's not. I will leave the video right here. Please do not leave without liking. And I'm sorry for disappointing you. uzoba strong. Goodbye.